Hello everyone, Heidi here, founder of the Positive People Army. Happy Tuesday. Today is Talk About It Tuesday, a day when we talk about really great subjects to, get our mind focused on things, which just happens to be the topic of today's conversation. I wanted to talk about focus because how many of us have a hard time with focus? How many of us are distracted by so many other things that are happening in our lives? I constantly joke about this. I always say that I had to have been a magpie in a past life because I get distracted by shiny things, sparkly things, anything that kind of is, big, enthusiastic, whatever is happening. I get distracted by things all the time. But here's the thing. I know this about myself. And knowing this about myself means that I can rein it in and make sure that I'm still focusing, realizing that when my attention is pulled off in another direction, I know exactly what's happening. So I can be aware of it, know that it's there, but then remind myself that I need to focus on the task at hand, the conversation at hand, or whatever it is. And how many of us lose focus in our life because of our phones, because of social media, because of whatever it is? I am the biggest advocate for social media. I think it's the most amazing way for human beings to connect on a regular basis. But even when I am out and I have my phone with me and I am in a conversation, I have chosen to be in a conversation with someone, I know that I am someone that, like I said, used to be a magpie in a past life. I get distracted by notifications, whatever it is. Because of that awareness, turn my phone over so that I am not distracted and I can stay focused on exactly what it is that I need to do. So we need to start training ourselves to have this focus in our lives. And that is a perfect example of how we can become aware and put that training onto ourselves so that we're focusing on exactly what it is that we need to do. Now, there's so many different ways that we can bring in that focus in our lives. There's so many of us. Now, instead of just being distracted by, say, our phones or sparkly things like my sweater here, we get distracted by our thoughts. And our thoughts, what they do is they go to the past or they go to the future. So we're dwelling on the past, things that we can do nothing about because that is our past, or we are worrying about our future. And the moment that we are in our past or in our future, we are not focusing on the present moment, which is where we need to be on a regular basis, in the present moment, to focus on whatever it is that we are trying to accomplish in life. If it's at work, if it's focusing on our goals, on our dreams, focusing on just a conversation, whatever it is, it's keeping ourselves in that present moment. And I've talked about this trick that I do on a regular basis. Now, what I do is this little part of my hand, and it's something that is very subtle that you can do to yourself. So it's not this big, huge thing that you're doing to bring attention to yourself. But when you find that your thoughts are in the past, in the future, you're worrying, they're taking over, you're in the negative cyclone, take your fingers and pinch it. Pinch it and then concentrate. Focus on what that pain feels like. Now, don't pinch it too hard that you're hurting yourself. Just enough to get your attention and bring your focus back to the present moment. Because when you are now focusing in on whatever this feeling is, you are now in the present moment. You have focused yourself back. It's a great way to start training your mind to do that. Some girls wear the elastics around their wrists, and I've heard the trick of snapping the elastic is another great way to focus yourself on exactly what you need to do. Another way to constantly train yourself to focus on everything that you're doing in life is to make sure that you are not multitasking. And I'm sorry, but we have become a society that multitasking is something we do on a regular basis. We're emailing people, we're checking our social media, we're making dinner, we're doing whatever we're doing. We're multitasking so many different things at once. And what happens? You're putting so many balls up in the air. Well, eventually they're going to start coming down. one at a time, and they're going to start crashing. You're not properly focusing. The moment you do that, your efficiency actually lowers. It lowers when you are multitasking, because what's happening is now you are releasing cortisol, which is the stress hormone. You're just stressing yourself out. You're not going to accomplish anything. And the moment you start stressing yourself, what happens? Everyone says the same thing. Oh my gosh, I just can't think right now because I'm so stressed out. And you can't think right now because you're in chaos. You have just put chaos into your brain. You are never going to focus on anything. So I want you guys to ditch the multitasking. Ditch it altogether. It's not helping you. Focus on one task at a time. Complete it. Now, I'm not saying that you can't do things that, when you're on autopilot, you don't even realize, you don't have to put a lot of thought into it, that you can't be doing something like that and another thing at the same time. What I'm talking about with the multitasking that is inefficient is when you are doing heavily thought out things all at the same time. That is when that stress cortisol hormone is going to be released. And you're going to almost feel like you're sleep deprived, because that's what happens. You get exhausted from it. So here are just some simple ways to start training yourself to focus in life. Are you ready to focus? Are you ready to put this into place? Let's do it together. Let's focus on the day at hand, the task at hand, and focus on our dreams and goals together. Guys, have a great Tuesday. I'll see you tomorrow for Positive Word Wednesday. It's story time tomorrow. Bye, guys.